if we do an inspect, notice that we have an error. See that? If we look at the console, it's complaining that each object should have a unique identifier. It's complaining that all your objects, the one you dynamically rendered, right, should have a unique identifier, right? So React wants to be able to keep track of what happens to the array, right? And whatever happens to the array, it wants to map and say, oh, I use this object to render this piece of the DOM, right? It wants to keep track of every DOM element that it generates, right, with some unique identifier. And the way we do that is through an attribute called key. So to do that, let's do that. Let's give everybody a unique identifier ID. Presumably this would be IDs that are generated by the database. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Actually, let me break this up a little bit. Title, seats. There we go. Actually, I could do it. I could be lazy and do the following. Map, as it iterates over the courses, it also gives me a second argument. It gives me a second argument, which is index, so that I know which one I'm iterating over, right? Is this the first element, the second, the third, the fourth? Which element am I on? Yes? So I could use that as a unique identifier. I could use that. I can grab that and can say key is just index, right? And that would be enough for React. Notice that it's no longer complaining. Right? It's no longer complaining, right? Each one of these has now a unique identifier using the index. Yes, right? Yes. No, only within that, only within the same element of course row. Right? They have to be unique within the map. Yeah. So even though we could get away with that, it's typically considered a bad practice, right, of just using the index. Instead, we should actually use something that we know that we generated that is indeed unique, right? So instead of doing that, course.id is a better option, right? Even though it has exactly the same values, right? It's considered to be a better practice. So there we go. So it doesn't complain.